Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here. The other day I did a video about the new Korg Kronos 2 and how it related to original Korg Kronos and the Korg Kronos X. Now, there's a couple of things, well actually there's a major thing that I wanted to address. And that is if you are a current Korg Kronos owner, whether it's the Korg Kronos, the original one, or the Korg Kronos X, and you're thinking of upgrading to the Korg Kronos 2, there's a major thing you need to consider. Now, that thing is, and I fall into this category myself, the Korg Kronos, whatever version you're using, is an amazing workstation. But you can make it even more amazing by buying more external sound libraries called EX, whatever the number is for an external library. Now, I bought an external library, which is the Austrian Grand Piano, actually the Bosendorfer, and that was like a $299 sound library, which I got on sale for $249. But still, that's a pretty good chunk of change. Now, what you need to consider if you've ever purchased any of those extended or external sound libraries, you can't take it with you. Basically, when you buy one of those EX sound libraries, it is machine specific. So you're going to have to provide your machine ID when you purchase it. That way, when you install it, it is specific to that machine ID. So even if you have purchased another Kronos, one for home, one for gigging, you can't take one of your purchases and put it on this second machine. It's just, you need to buy it again because each machine has a different machine ID. All right, so that's a consideration you need to take into account because let's say I wanted to upgrade to the new Kronos 2 because I like the side panels that are wood and all that kind of stuff. Well, I could go ahead and sell my original Kronos, which I'll get some kind of dollar amount for, even less since there's two new models out since then. But the buyer would be getting a deal because they have the Austrian Grand that I installed on there. Yeah, there was a couple other EX modules that I installed as well, but those were like $49. So now, whatever I make on the sale of that, if I go out and buy the new Kronos 2, yeah, I get the nice wood side panels, but if I want that Austrian Grand back and I want those other couple of sound modules that I added, I have to repurchase them. Now that's a problem. And, it's interesting contrasting it with you go back to the earlier models of Korg workstations like the Trinity or the Triton. Let's say the Triton. They had, I don't remember how many slots, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was. But they had these slots where if you wanted to buy a different piano, you could. And it was on a circuit board with, memory chips in there. And you just slip that circuit board into one of those extension slots, and voila, you had your new purchase, your new piano or whatever it was that you purchased. And if you had bought a second Triton or whatever for gigging, you just take that card out and you put it in the new Triton. So it was simple, even though you were limited by the number of slots as to how many external modules or extension modules that you could add to that unit, you still could take it with you. If you went and sold your unit, you don't have to sell the extension cards with it. You take those and use them somewhere else or sell them somewhere else, whatever. Now, enter 2000, 21st century, Now, we have, since 2011, we have the Korg Kronos. And with modern technology, we don't need these circuit boards anymore. We don't have a limited number of card slots to insert those circuit boards anymore. Now it's all done online. You can just buy it, download it, put it in your machine, supply your machine ID, good to go, right? But when you want to upgrade, you can't take it with you. So is this technology a step forward or is it a step backwards? I don't know which. On the one hand, it's nice to be able to do what you can do today with the modern technology. Just download it, put it in your system. But God, if you want to sell it, you're selling it with all those things that you paid for, and you can't take it with you to the next thing. So that's one thing that you've got to consider if you're considering a Korg Kronos 2 and you already own a previous version of the Kronos, whether it was the original Kronos or the Kronos X. If you have bought any of those EX modules, you better think again if you want to buy the new Kronos 2. Now, that kind of thinking, to me, it's kind of flawed because Korg would lose a lot of sales from people that want to upgrade because they don't want to have to spend the money to repurchase something that they have already purchased and is working great in their current board. So if there's a way that they could come up with something where you can, like an Apple, you go to iTunes where you can deauthorize a certain computer or whatever and set up another one to do the same thing. If they could come up with a similar way to deauthorize that machine ID for that particular Kronos and be able to install that on your newer Kronos, that would be great. Their sales would increase. A lot of people that were on the fence about upgrading now would just upgrade with no problem because they're not losing anything. So it's kind of a gripe that I've had, even though we're technologically more advanced, it seems to be we're taking a step backwards because now we have to purchase everything again. It's almost like, people that used to have albums, vinyl, and they play it on their record player or whatever, but now they don't make that anymore, or it's rare, so you're buying CDs. Now you have to purchase the same CD that you have purchased in an album to get it to work with the newer equipment. It's kind of the same kind of thing, and I don't know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.